Welcome to the 7th podcast here at One Semester 50 Films, and today I have Mr. Ronnie Lee here with me. So perhaps Ronnie can tell us a bit about himself and what he loves about movies, why he loves watching movies so much.
I'm currently working as a business manager. One of my key interests when I agreed to do this project is because of my love for movies, especially movies that are thought-provoking in nature and in its messages by the directors and the writers.
Did Go do that for you? Was it thought-provoking for you in any way?
Yeah. Watching the movie, it was never a dull moment, and there was always this anticipation to know what the next scene is like. And at the same time, I'm also processing the past scenes, the past previous event, previous conversation, dialogue, and also the setting. Who did the lead character talk to? What is his behavior like? His thoughts, his outbursts, and yeah, you can sort of like know what is the issue of the whole story, or what the director wants to convey.
So actually Go, despite being a very stylistic sort of movie, it makes no pretensions about its political themes. It's not your average teen movie, so to speak. Did you see that in the movie? I see that you have a whole line of notes regarding the political symbolisms and things like that.
Yes, the movie on a surface level depicts and dramatizes about discrimination, especially people from mixed parentages in Japan. Sugihara, the lead character, is a Japan-born North Korean. Interestingly, the director chose a North Korean, but I suppose this is because of the political situation, which is more tense between that part of Korea and Japan, and also the world. His father being a North Korean and his mother being Japanese. And in the other parts of the movie, it also shows Sugihara attending his North Korean school in Japan and being accused by the teacher of being a traitor when he wanted to further his studies in a Japanese university or a Japanese school and wanting to learn everything Japanese. So that's the political undertone that the movie conveys, not only in terms of individual discrimination on the individual level, but also on the societal level. And what the director wants to tell us is also on a national level, where you may be in a foreign school and the teachers who are of your nationality may even accuse you of being a traitor. I mean, traitor is being such a harsh and serious word, and he used that on Sugihara. So yeah, there are a lot of what I see. The director sweeps across in the movie. He brings out the point of discrimination across all levels of the person's life, up to even on a country level.
Yeah, and it's also interesting if you remember the opening sequence. It has all the political terms, and it's like it just comes out at you. You know, all these so-called troublesome terms is addressed right from the start. But this show also is insistent on being a love story. It keeps saying, "Oh, this is actually a love story." So, what do you make of that? How do you reconcile the two?
It brings to reality, or you know, in a sense that it destroys the perception of a love story where, you know, everything is nice and fairy tale like, and the guy gets the girl and they walk off into the sunset. You know, like the cartoons that we are familiar with, and also some of the earlier love stories that always has a good ending and doesn't seem to show any problems in relationships. So what this movie shows that even in the level of relationship, individual relationships, when it comes to discrimination amongst mixed parentage people, it adds an extra layer of conflict, it adds an extra layer of challenges to an already complex relationship. Even a normal relationship is already complex, but what more if you add in this layer of discrimination, cultural differences in the relationship?
I think that there are different symbols in it, and one of it is perhaps the Shakespearean quote, "What's in the name?" Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So, was it significant for you, or did you find like other things more significant?
I think the lead character, mentioned that, and I think that is one of his favorite quotes, phrases. And I think he feels it more personally in his life, because him being a product of a mixed parentage, yet he's being labeled as a foreigner, as an alien, or in what a Japanese term would be the word zainichi, right? And that is what the Japanese society themselves calls a name for people who are not pure Japanese origin. The frustration I feel from watching the movie is that he was never born in Korea. He speaks fluent Japanese. He knows the culture. He knows everything about Japan. Remember, there was one scene where he even spoke to his love interest parents, Sakurai. Yeah, talking about the meaning of the name Japan, the meaning of the word Japan, and went into that kind of in-depth discussion with the parents. So he knows everything about Japan. He's born in Japan. He speaks fluent Japan. Yet he feels frustrated because they still call him a zainichi, despite the fact that he can be passed off as a true blue Japanese, actually. That's why he finds that phrase interesting, the Shakespearean phrase interesting, because to him, it's more like a reverse effect on him, you know. Because he's known to be a zainichi. So no matter what he does, he still can't shake off that stigma on him that he's a foreigner, he's an alien. Despite on the contrary, the truth is he doesn't know anything about North Korea, the place where he's supposed to be from.
So, what do you feel perhaps about the ending? Because for me, I found that the ending was, it's kind of like he's right. It does end as a love story. It doesn't seem to make any grand solutions or conclusions like, okay, I can promise you that it will be better, but it ends just kind of like a normal love story. Did you feel that way?
The ending is very interesting because it didn't have, we didn't know whether will it work out or not. We didn't know whether did they come together. I mean, in the end, whether they did resume back the relationship. But there's one key aspect that the movie clearly shows, and that is Sakurai's acceptance of his individualistic being, and also him being himself, being unique as Sugihara. To me, that is the first step in breaking down barriers of discrimination, breaking down barriers of cultural divide, breaking down barriers of even cross-border conflict. And that is to really accept each one as a unique being and individual in their own right, who have their own right in making their own decisions, and not to be pressured by either peer pressure or society. And it is a love story because in the end, we would like to think that they really did get back together. But I think the key point the movie wants to show is that if you have acceptance, if you accept one another, there's progress. You can move on in whatever situation, and I believe that can overcome challenges and conflicts.
Okay, so just like to thank Ronnie, and be sure to listen to the next